and it's about we've got a resistance movement that's just trying to restore the entire planet back to a condition of freedom, and it's quite a tale. But getting into the book, back in 2013, I started on the book. It took me 2 years solid. I mean, this is like 7-8 hours a day of writing and researching. 2013 and 2014, finally published in early 2015. But and one of the editors of the book was impressed because all the tales in the story, and it's really kind of a number of tales that go forward. All of them use real scientific facts and technology and devices we now have. It's not made up, so it's really hard to call it science fiction, but that was the category. But it's at the same time, it is truly a thriller, and if you're paying attention to what's happening in the cyber world, I think people really get a real kick out of this thing. But one of the things that got me is, as I said, I started writing the book in 2013, and so much of it was coming true already. It was almost scaring me, Michael. My original title was going to be 2025. You know how George Orwell used 1984? I thought, well, this is quite a ways in the future, 2025. And I said, well, we'll just call it there's a reason why the Brotherhood of the Beast was the title. But I was really thinking it was about that time when these things would start to become pronounced. But I'm going to list a few items right here today that have already come to pass since I wrote the book, expecting it to happen even later. Okay. For example, the chip implants in humans is already beginning. They're already experimenting with that in some places. The end of cash is now taking place in India. The police are patrolling by drones. That's a fact already. Police cameras are doing face scans. That's begun. They now have these cameras on policemen, but there's a company now that's offering them the ability to identify the person as they're looking at them electronically. Imagine that. He looks at you, okay, Dale, I see your name here. That's already happening now. The internet censoring of websites, we can see that's, at the time it was unbelievable. They would be censoring all these websites. Well, they're happening right now as we talk. We just talked about that a little while ago. And the tracking of cars and people are in progress. They track the GPS in your car. They track the GPS you're holding in your pocket. And believe it or not, one of the things I predicted back when I wrote it in 2013 was the rising of fake news propaganda. Imagine that. It's already happening. And, of course, we all know about the dumbed-down education where people are not told the true history of the country. We've got several grandchildren in elementary school, and they're just not getting it. I have to explain to them who the founding fathers were. I think for the first, second, third grade we heard some of that. They're not getting that at all because they're being given this Common Core with the progressive bias in it, and it's really quite shocking. When I talk to these kids and I hear them answer things, I just get the creeps. Anyway, the other thing that in my story that I was predicting were cell phones and smart TVs that can listen to you. Guess what's been happening?
Yeah, exactly. Just like we've been talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
There it is. I mean, and of course now you go anywhere in a city, and most cities, anyway, probably all of them by now, but you go anywhere, even here in Columbia, I go and you see cameras everywhere, cameras up on poles, cameras in parking lots, cameras on stores, cameras everywhere. So, I mean, I watch some of these these real life detective shows sometimes when I actually get a lazy moment, which happens once in a blue moon. I'll put on one of these things and I watch, and it's reality kind of stuff, so I like it. And you'll see where I like mystery. I like, crimes being solved. And so you see them and we followed them through the cameras. And they followed every step of some of these people. They knew where they were, what time they were there, even going through toll booths. They got pictures of them. I mean, you can't get away with nothing these days.
Oh, I know. And I distinctly remember the day when I was reading, I think it was a magazine, and they said that England was putting these cameras out in the public to watch the public squares and to watch the people. And I thought to myself, what an invasion of privacy. And I said to myself, that'll never happen in America.
Yeah, I thought that one time too, and then there was, of course, a time when you thought before all this stuff come along, a crime would happen and you'd think, oh, how nice it would have been if there was a way to, be able to record what happened and catch them. But they don't use it they take it too far. It started behind the counter in a grocery store, right? And then it goes from that to every street pole. I mean, they want to put cameras in your house now. You got these security things being sold on TV, Oh, yeah, I forget what it's called. There's one of them where the lady says, "Intruder, leave the premises now." So now you're getting a camera installed in your house. They could turn it on anytime they want and watch.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, it's amazing. No, you've heard of this, let's see, what do they call that where you're renting your house out? People... you rent your house out to people. There's a website they can get on. You can rent somebody's house. I don't know why I went blank on that.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, he rents one of his houses out on occasion. People, we're near Yosemite National Park here, and so we have a lot of people that would like lodging, and he's making a killer business out of this thing. And he has installed cameras and things that work over the internet. He can be anywhere on his iPhone. He can check if they came and when they came and how many people are coming in the house. He controls the thermostat. He can turn on the coffee pot for him and do all this from his iPhone. It's just amazing with the level of integration he has now right onto his iPhone.
Well, I would caution people. That's like even with these garage door openers and your car, beep, beep, you know, you can start it with your little remote controls. And I know that's a nice luxury to have, right? But if you can do it, someone else can do it too. And that's the bottom line. I mean, if somebody, you know, all they got to do is play with frequencies. People could open your garage doors. They could do all. They could unlock your car. I mean, these hackers have gotten good. I mean, and just you could get your 14-year-old kid next door who learns how to do this stuff. I mean, they're good. They've gotten really good at this stuff. So I don't know. I'm still not opposed to getting out of the car and opening the garage myself. I'm okay with that.
I like the garage. And the encoding is pretty good. Back in the early days of remote controls, they didn't think very far ahead, and it was very simple. There was not much encoding, so it was really easy to break the codes. They're harder now, but still it can be done by just about. I remember back in the when I learned to fly. I'm also a pilot, and back in the early 70s, I was taking flying lessons, and my instructor says, "I want to show you." We were flying at night, and he says, "I want to show you a magic trick." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, we were flying over near Hughes aircraft company still had a landing strip over near Culver City at the time, and he says, "I'm going to turn to this frequency, and I'm going to key my mic and whistle." I mean, he keys the mic on the airplane radio, he whistles, and the landing lights come on at the airport. I thought that's the ultimate remote control experience for a pilot. You know, I want to land, so I'll just turn on your landing lights. But
oh my God, I would have said no magic tricks while we're flying.
It was kind of fun. Oh no, I had a great experience as a private pilot. That was one of them. I'm really glad I did it. I love flying. I always did. So,
well, you know, I just had an experience like that myself a few days ago. I've got some radio quick kit thing that I got in the mail, and I was goofing around with it, and I put an antenna booster on it, and I'm goofing around. All of a sudden, the lights over my wife's desk come on, and I said, "How did that happen?" So I'm thinking it's either a ghost or something. And then I figured I turned the switch. I said, "I'll be darned, I'm controlling the light." I don't know how, but it worked. It turned the lights on and off. So interesting stuff. You just never know. So you might be driving by someone's house, and I don't know, you play with one of your gadgets and you open someone's garage and don't even know it. I hope something like that wouldn't happen, but God.
Well, I can tell you how one's a little bit on the naughty side to being a ham radio operator. I have a ham radio equipment in the car, and it's a lot, compared to CBs and other things, this is like tens or hundreds of times the transmitter power. And one radio that I had a tendency to set off car alarms. And we were going through a parking lot, and I would just key the mic on the radio transmitter, and all the cars would start beeping. And wow! I mean, when you drove around the parking lot, the lights would come on behind us, everything beeping. You know, it was so bad. My wife got the biggest kick out. She grabbed the mic and said, "I want to do that. I want to do that."
I had a car with no muffler once, and I used to love going down this one side street and just laying on the gas hard. And all the alarms would go off. But listen, we've got to take a break here, Dale, so hang on with me for a moment, and then we'll come back. Now, when we come back, I'll get the questions in the chat. Right now, there's only a couple of them. Also, we will open up phone lines. If anybody wants to call in, guess what? You may. Guess again, it will work this time. All right? The call-in number is 803-339-2559, and here's what's probably going to happen. When you call in, I'll at some point, you know, if we've got more than one call, I'll mute you. And if you get muted, stay muted. All right, don't unmute yourself. And just wait until I call you on. And it's that simple. You should hear the show and everything while you're waiting, and everything should work out just fine. My guest, he is Dale E. Winther. His book is The Brotherhood of the Beast, and I would suggest you go ahead and get yourself a copy. Matt, and this question was asked a little while ago. I'm just getting to it, though. What are your views on the Black Star? Do you have any views on the Black Star?
To me, it's a wait and see. It's a very curious thing. I want to wait and hear more about it.
All right. And Tony says, looks like Trump sent the boys in and got rid of ISIS in Iraq and is moving into Syria. I heard that he was supposed to be sending some portion of some, I don't know, some outfit there. What do you know about that? I mean, are we?
Unfortunately, I know very little about that, and the fact that he's doing things that we're not aware of, and I think that that's great. I heard today, too, that he sent some B-52s down to South Korea. Did you hear about that?
Yes, that I did hear. As a matter of fact, I reported on that in the beginning of the show, and that would say, I'm telling you, that's the thing. We got a real president now, and he's not going to play around with little Kim Jong Uns, and So I hope nothing gets fired up there, because that won't be good. And China could.
I hope so too.
China could end this if they wanted to. China should put them in check over there, but they're not doing it.
Well, it's outrageous that they've been allowed to come this far. But I'll tell you, what brings to mind the other thing that Trump is really hopefully going to be our law and order president. That stuff that happened with the police assassinations under Obama, that was absolutely uncalled for. And they didn't look like they were going to do anything. They were creating situations of rioting, and it all started with Ferguson, where the media to continue to lie and say hands up, don't shoot, when it was an absolute lie. They carried that on, and I think people have lost their property and died because the media kept telling that tale when they knew it wasn't true.
Well, that's right. And you notice since Obama's been out of office, we haven't had police officers getting assassinated. Now, you might get one shot in the line of duty somewhere. It's going to happen. But, you don't see it all over the news anymore, right? I mean...
that's right. Let's hope it stays that way, because this is just the thing. You can't allow that stuff. And it's the anarchy, the very thing that the media was really projecting anarchy with the views and being supported by a president that was quiet about it.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Again, it was all by design, and it should be investigated. And that's something I was going to say earlier. I want to see Trump get on the ball and start going after these criminals. He needs, Hillary Clinton. She's getting, I guess, ballsy again. She's out there speaking again. He needs to just shut her up immediately. Let's get the investigation going on her. Let's get her put away. Let's get Bill Clinton put away, and let Obama too, and George Soros. I mean, he should be picked up and arrested. I mean, all these people. We should start rounding them up.
Take care of things. Their job of the federal government is to protect the people, and we see that happening. I'll tell you, that court yanking down that ban. Really, it upset me, and it upset me because I thought, we're in grave danger, and you're going to tell a sitting president that he can't take actions to protect us. It was really a shocking thing to me that the court could be allowed to do what he did on that ban.
Well, yeah, and a lot of them are Obama appointed, these judges. So, I mean, believe me, he filled the team roster really well before he got out of there. He knows what he's doing. Yeah. He's got people on the inside, and if the FBI does a real investigation and looks into who's leaking this information, and just like if they would go after Hillary Clinton and all that she's done, you watch it. You know how many of the pond scum we would get rid of? It would lead back to some of them. We'd get rid of them. I mean, they talk about Trump and Russia. I mean, Hillary Clinton and Russia. What kind of buyout did she do that she put information on her server for him? Yeah.
It's pretty disturbing how that thing goes. But let me continue forward a little bit.
Sure.
On the book, The Brotherhood of the Beast. It really is an edge of your seat thriller. And what I want to do is mention the 5 of the primary plots of the book. And I think for people to get some idea what the book is about, there is a resistance movement that's to stop global tyranny, and it's there to save mankind from extinction. And then and in the book, one of the most exciting plots, and my book editor said this was pretty good, was the final collapse of Wall Street. Leads to an ultimate global police state. The villains are pursued. The man that caused the collapse is pursued and has a price on his head for most of the entire story. But what happens in Wall Street is absolutely shocking. It could happen today. It could happen tomorrow morning. All the trading that goes on, the electronic trading in Wall Street. This guy was in the story is a computer programmer that had a way of taking down the electronic trading and taking down Wall Street absolutely to zero. And I won't give away the whole thing, but he was compelled to actually do so, and his life of his family was threatened, and it's kind of an exciting part while he's on the run while trying to save his family. That's one of the plots. The other plot is that all the money becomes electronic, which, by the way, is now happening in India. But what can you do with electronic things? Well, you can hack it. Can you imagine hacking the money system so that nobody can buy anything? That happens in the story. People are out on the streets rioting because their money doesn't work anymore. It's all electronic. It's like having an ATM card that isn't recognized. They can't buy food. It just shuts down the entire economy. And that's quite one. And then one of the surprising, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say we've got a call. When you're ready, we'll go ahead. But go ahead and finish your thought, and we'll take the call.
We're going through the list of priorities. Another one is an odd one. There's a plot in there about people that are late with their mortgages. You know how college loans are not forgivable. The bankers talk the government into making mortgage payments unforgivable, and what they wind up doing is if you're late with your mortgage payments, you're taken away to a work camp and you're working off your debt to the bank, and that's quite a wild story. These kinds of things that are tyrannical, that could happen the way we're going right now. And then there's another subplot in there is the bloody gun war. The United Nations tries to seize all the guns from Americans. They go door to door in the United States trying to take your guns. Just imagine how bloody that's going to be. This is detailed quite well and described how this happens. The gun war becomes a great tragedy in the United States, something worse than the Civil War, and they're using UN soldiers to come into our country and take our guns away. This is quite a story and how it happens. And as we get toward the end, there's a doomsday weapon that's created. It's discovered. There was a discovery at the CERN Super Collider, and of course, me being a scientist, I get into some of the details of how this actually happens and how it goes together. And there's a weapon that's a true doomsday weapon that really makes atomic bombs look like a firecracker. Well, the elites have decided that they want to wipe out most of the people, about at least most of the 7 billion people on Earth, but they're saving these weapons to wipe out the cities. They have it in their minds that we should have nothing but a natural setting. We shouldn't be seeing these buildings. So they're going to be using the doomsday weapons to wipe out all the cities, and that's part of the subplot that carries through there also. There's kind of a mixture of some very exciting things for the reader. Go ahead.
All right, and we've got here on the line, it says Lusk in McKinney, Texas. So let's go ahead and take that one. Lusk, welcome aboard. You're on Late Night in the Midlands. Welcome.
Hey, Michael. David Lusk, as you so eloquently.
Oh, David. Okay, well, it's got it backwards here. I didn't mean to give out last names. I thought that was the first name.
Good evening, David.
So just so we're all clear here, and Michael, I'm a longtime supporter. I subscribe. $5 a month for many, many, many months. I'm a longtime listener.
Well, thank you.
I work for a Fortune 35 company, and I specialize in information security. And it's very relevant to the book that your guest has written, and I hope that your listeners will hear me, and we can talk. We can have a conversation. So first thing I want to say is I am from the underground, and the best way to institute change is from the inside out. That's my perspective. So that's where I come from. Having said that, if your listeners or you or your guests who wrote the book are using Gmail or Yahoo or any major service, I strongly encourage you tonight, before I hang up the phone, go change your password. And I say that because of, as you've seen in the headlines, the whole Vault 7 WikiLeaks release. Mm-hmm. The CIA is now publicly known to hack, not just hack, but understand and be able to break the encryption of iOS. So when I say iOS, that's Apple. That's the phone that I'm talking to you on now, my iPhone, your listener's iPhone, and Android. So if you own a Samsung device or any other type of device, your kind government services, they can listen to it. They can turn it into a microphone at any time. And as just one example of that, if you ever happen to notice that little eloquent lightning figure by your phone, not the charging sign, but like the little bolt that tells you that your geolocation services are enabled at the top left of your phone, that is your services from your country listening to you. So I just called to tell you, there's some real world things going on. This man, your guest, has written a book about a lot of this stuff that could happen. And I'm here to tell you that it is happening. Like these people that tell you they're conspiracy theorists, they don't know what they're talking about. It's happening. Like our devices are listening. Yeah. They call it signal intelligence. That's how they're gathering our information. And I'm not saying it to scare anyone, because this is the world we live in. We all live here, right? Like we all use these things. I'm talking to you on my device. So it's not like I'm saying, oh, the sky's falling. And I'm giving people real things that they can do. Make sure that you're using the most current, whatever your operating system is, make sure that it's patched, right? Mm-hmm. And then if you're clever enough to do the whole VPN thing to make sure that your transmission is secured, then that's awesome. But just, people should not be the low-hanging fruit. Use strong passphrases, right? Strong passwords, right? Use multi-factor authentication everywhere you can, including Google, right? That's in the Vault 7 releases where they hack Gmail. Another thing that for your techie nerdy friends that might be listening, Google just released that they have had they calculated the first ever SHA-1 collision, meaning if you're trying to encrypt things, SHA-1 is the encryption mechanism, and we gave it two different things, and we got the same input twice. That's what we call a collision, meaning it's bad, meaning it can be hacked and broken. Mind you, given the context of Google and all their computer services and how they operate in their computer systems, it's clearly highly technical, and the bad guys are highly economical, and it's not to their bottom dollar to use that payload, if you will, right? That way, that device, that technique.
Okay.
But it is possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I hear you.
I've battled a lot here. I'll open it up. I don't mean to take up your whole time, but I want people to know that things are real. Things are actually happening. And from the top on down, from the largest corporations, there are people on the inside working to make sure that the regular people, the people that use these things, the people that drive the economy are taken care of. We protect them. And we will rise up from the inside out.
Well, good.
We're here.
And
you said my first and last name and where I'm located, and it's fine.
Well,
It's
listen,
okay.
I apologize. That was an error on the screen, just so you know. It gave me the last name, so I thought, who knows? I mean, I've seen a lot of...
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's totally fine.
I
I'm not worried
apologize
about
for that, but I think Dale wanted to get in on this. Dale, anything you want to add?
Well, David, I appreciate what you had to tell us. Yeah, as you know, I've been aware of these possibilities and seen some of these over the years, but I'm so deep into how the programs work and computers having designed operating systems from the ground up that I've been worried about this for many, many years. Then people talk about it, oh, no, that could never happen. Then we see it actually happen and say, oh, that's not really happening. People really do have to take this stuff seriously.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. And when you say take it seriously, I mean, I'd hope that listeners out there can realize that I use a Gmail account. Michael, you probably use a Gmail account.
I do.
And the man that is your, caller tonight, your listener tonight, your guest tonight, I'm sorry, I said the wrong word there. You probably use a Gmail account. Change your password. Google offers two-factor authentication. They offer an app for your phone, right? It's an applicator, if you will. That's the name of it. If you just want to go Google Authenticator, it's an app for your phone. And what it does essentially is when you try to log into your Google account, whether it's email or whatever their platform and service is, you have to hit the app to get a code. You enter in your password, and then it prompts you for a code. And no one, no service, no nothing can get access to it unless you happen to be the DHS or CIA and you've hacked the operating system. But it makes you not the low-hanging fruit. It keeps you off the radar. And I suggest that if you use those services, then you should use multi-factor authentication. And it's an app that you can put on your phone. It gives you a code to log into your email or your Google Calendar or your spreadsheet or whatever it is that you happen to be using. I highly recommend it. People should do that.
Yep, he's very good. Very, very good point. You should do that. I got rid of Yahoo about 3 years ago when I got hacked, and it just about blew my mind the way they did it. And so I don't use either one of those. But if people do, they are in danger.
Well, I have a Gmail account, but I don't use it. It's just dormant. But again, I mean, I'm out here, I'm doing this show and all that. So, I mean, I can't get away from the technology. All I could do is try my best to protect myself while using it. But, you can only do so much. I don't have a cell phone, so I don't have to worry about that one. But, again, yeah, if you could, Yahoo is horrible. I hate Yahoo, but I still have it.
There's another huge vulnerability that just got released yesterday, and I don't want to dive too deep in the weeds here, technically, Michael, so if I do, then please rein me back, please.
Sure.
But all, and when I say all, I mean ALL, all web applications, meaning any website that you go to could potentially be exposed to this vulnerability. It just got released yesterday, so it's very new. I'm calling to tell you. It's called Apache. That is the web service that enables a web server to run. And there's a binary library that enables some services, such as file transfer protocol, to upload files to a website. But in this case, it doesn't matter. If a web application or a website that you're trying to browse to happens to be using what's called Apache Strutus, it's Strutus. Anyone can Google it right now and you will find it. It's hugely vulnerable. And hackers all over the world right now, as I speak to you, are actively exploiting it. And essentially what it does is, me being a bad guy, if I were a bad guy, I could go to any website, find out really quickly if it's vulnerable, and it's very easy. And now I own that website, and I can make it do whatever I want it to do. I can make it call home. I can make it a backdoor. I can make it dump all of its passwords. So what I'm telling people, I'm not trying to say the sky is falling.
Sure.
I'm not the doomsayer. I'm trying to give you actions that you can take. Enable multi-factor authentication. If you run a website, if you have an admin account, if you're an administrator, enable multi-factor authentication. Enable, click an app, click a button, there's many different services. Admins are going to know what I'm talking about here, but enable that to where you don't just enter in your username and password. There's this other code that you have to enter, and that will help you. But it's pretty bad. It's extensive. You're going to hear about this a lot in the next week, the next 2 weeks, because essentially Apache Strutus is those binaries are in almost virtually every website that is accepting payment card industry services. And that's a PCI standard. It's an international standard for payment card, how you pay money to people. And it's huge. I have a website, just for instance, right? Like I have a website, I have a blog. I'm not trying to name drop. I'm just trying to give examples here. So if someone tries to donate to me through my widget of PayPal, if my widget is enabled through my Apache Web Service, right, then that service is enabled by the Stratus binaries. Apache Stratus was a vulnerability that I mentioned earlier. So it doesn't even matter how you access it, or even if you do access it. If the binaries are present on the website you're trying to access, it's vulnerable. And any traffic passing to it is vulnerable. So the deliverable here, how do people protect themselves from it? Go change your passwords. Like if you're surfing the internet and you're logging into things, go change your passwords tonight, today, right now, in the next hour. Do it. You need to. That's all I want to say, Michael. I'm sorry.
All right,
hijack the show here.
I appreciate it, and believe me, I take your advice. Absolutely. You should frequently change your passwords on stuff because, they're out there. Yahoo is just horrible. I get emails all the time. I love people who send me emails. Oh, Mike, you got to see this link. You got to see this, and they put just a link. I'm not clicking on nothing like that. You're not taking. What happens? You click on it before you know it, then they got you. That's a good point you raised there. Twitter in the last 2 weeks has experienced what we call a distributed denial of service by 13, 14, and 15-year-olds with Twitter accounts. And a person that will not be said had a link posted to their Twitter profile, and people started clicking on it, and it went viral. And what it was doing was calling the 911 services in Northwest Pacific coast of the United States, and no one could call 911. Essentially, when you click on the link, that's what happened. When you click on it,
I
it
registered
would
the
call over and
911
over
and
and
down in
over.
some parts of the country.
Yeah, and it was all from a bad Twitter link from some kid who was in college who thought he was really smart. And sad to say, he'll probably be working for the NSA or facing federal prison time here very shortly. But yeah.
Wow. Well,
be careful what you click on. If you don't trust it, if you don't know the source, even if you do know the source, if Michael Vera sends me an email because he wants me to update my subscription, you know what? I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to call Michael Vera and say, "Are you sure, buddy? Because this is automatically set to renew."
See,
just be curious. Just be cautious. That's all I'm saying.
I do that with stuff all the time. I get emails, you're this, your web domain, you're this. I go right to the source. I never go through the emails to get to anything. Because that's how they trap you. But and they're smart. You got to really be on your toes because they're always thinking of new ways to get you.
Don't you just love the ones that come on and say, "We need your social security number"?
Yeah, you just want a lot of money. Yeah.
Never give that number over the phone.
But they must get enough people biting on that
number over the phone.
Yeah, so believe me, there's people trying to hook me every day. I get at least 10, 15 of those kind of emails that, and you don't know. Sometimes it could be innocent listeners who are just sending me a link. But, I kind of get frustrated. It's like, tell me something. Don't just send me a link. I'm not going to click on it. So, I don't know. What's a good idea? If someone does send you a link, then would it be better to maybe copy that link and then put it up into your browser and go to it that way if you were going to go to it? Or what do you suggest? Or leave it alone altogether?
That's a great question, Michael. That's a great question, Michael. Two things. I can give you two things that any human can do to make it real simple. First, just hover your mouse over it. If it looks like a bunch of gobbledygook, XYZ, 1, 2, 3, X, like if it just looks like something that you can't read, don't click on it. And if you're curious, just right-click, don't left-click, right-click and copy it, and then paste it into what's called Notepad. If you know how to run Notepad, awesome. If you don't, hit the Windows key plus R and type in Notepad. It'll run it for you. And then paste whatever you've copied into that. And if it looks like gobbledygook, don't click it and contact the person that sent it to you. Otherwise, you're probably going to install what's called a remote admin tool into your system, which is basically a backdoor where I can run whatever I want to on your system.
That's good advice.
So, if you're getting attachments, if you're getting emails with weird things, hackers love to put Trojans and malware and just bad juju, right? Just bad executables into documents. And when you click it, they own you. That's a fact. If
Yeah.
you click it, you're basically giving them permission. So resist the click. You know, if you're not expecting it, or even if it's from someone you expect it to come from, contact them and say, hey, did you really send me this? Is this something you're trying to send to me? I mean, within reason, right? Like Michael, if you're sending me a business spreadsheet with account expensables, then, I'm probably going to be in business with you, and I'm going to know that that's from you to me.
Right.
But if it's weird, if it's suspicious at all, just verify. Trust, but verify. Go back to Reagan years, right? Trust, but verify.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
It does. It absolutely does. Well, look, I thank you so much for calling in and sharing this with us. You should get a hold of me sometime. Email me. And, we haven't done a security show in a long time. It might not be a bad idea.
Awesome, Michael.
All right.
I will, man. I'll shoot you an email. Thanks, Mike.
All right, David. Thank you.
Appreciate your call, David. You've got some very good things to tell us.
Absolutely. Have a great night, David, and thank you for listening, and definitely thanks for the call. And I'll tell you, I get people all the time, even today. I mean, I opened up at least 8 or 9 of them. You open email and it's, it looks good. It looks good, but I know
I know.
Yeah, but I won't do it. I'm not.
I gotta tell you, the most scary thing I ever saw was an email from PayPal, and it used the perfect. It was the logo and everything, and it was absolutely perfect. And it said, we need to verify a few things about your account. And it said, and I said, what? Well, and then it wanted my social security number. But until I got to that, I wasn't sure what I was dealing with. It was so good.
I had a former sponsor of this show who he wrote me one night. He says, well, Michael, I don't know how I'm going to pay you the sponsorship. He says, I just got an email from PayPal about this or that. And I couldn't get a hold of him quick enough. I says, don't click it. If you clicked it, quick. Go change your password because someone's out to get you. And he's lucky. He's lucky I paid attention and got a hold of him because they were about to clean out his PayPal. So you got to listen. Anything like that.
They clean out your PayPal or your bank account. If they have a keystroke logger, they can find out what you're using for passwords on your bank account when you do online banking, and you've lost everything.
Well, right. That's why I don't do any of that. I mean, outside of PayPal. But here's the thing: I get anything from something like that, I call. Same thing with GoDaddy or any of that stuff. Anything I use like that, if I have any business with any of them, if I get an email, I read the email. I then put the email in a folder, and then I call and I ask them, "Did you send me this? What's it about?" And that's what I do. I'll never click on that stuff.
No, that's very good. That's a very good idea. You should do that.
Yeah. Okay.
I like that plan.
And we got Lotus who's listening and in the chat room and wants to know, but why? Why is it happening? What is it all for? So basically, why are they doing all this?
Well, I wanted to know that. I'll tell you, it's shocking. We live kind of in a cloud until they started doing these things. That most people were going to be honest, and only a few people are going to do things like that. You can understand people doing it to get money, but when people do it just to foul people up, that's the part that that part of human nature I simply can't fathom. I do not understand that.
Oh, exactly. I mean, and I try not to sound too bad. Like, there's people out who do, they got radio shows and they think it's fun and entertaining to say, oh, they're after me. Black limos are pulling up and they're, and they make up all this stuff. And I'm not going to mention names, but there's those out there that do that. So,
that's different. That's just kind of toying with you. But when someone goes on there and does damage to your computer and makes it useless for no gain for them, that really gets to me.
Well, yeah. Well, exactly. I've learned. You got to learn from these things, and I have. But I've had my hard drives destroyed from hackers. I've had my internet lines cut outside 800 feet from my house. They dug them up, cut them.
That's what happened the first time I tried to talk to you. You weren't on the air, and I didn't know it, and because you're trying to get the cut fixed.
Oh yeah,
way back then. We talked. Yeah, I remember that.
And then I moved, and I got my new studio in play here, and they tried it again. So now,
wow,
the company was gracious enough to put them right kitty corner. I mean, I'm looking out my window right now, and I could see the box. So go ahead and try to dig it up. You're right in range.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on it. That's good. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just amazing. And then you wonder, and here's the scary part, all right? There's somebody who knows where I am who's doing that. Now, who the hell would that be? I mean, you speculate, then you become a conspiracy theorist, right? So,
right.
I don't know. Maybe it was a woodchucker.
Can't win.
Yeah, maybe a rat dug him up and chewed him. I don't know. But it happened. So
anyway, back to the plot for a little bit here.
Sure.
So what happens is people are having. We're going now. This could happen any time where we finally. I think if you look at the globalists, what they're trying to do is take down the United States, and we're the last major piece of the pie they need to get. If they can get us and get all the smaller countries, they've got a global government in place. That's what the EU was trying to do. That's what Soros was trying to get together, and they had to, and they've been very good about it. I mean, for the last 20, 30 years, they've been working on the United States. How do we get control of America? And once they do that, we're kind of done for. But living in that world, which in my story occurs because of the takedown of Wall Street. I mean, one day the whole thing goes to zero, if you can imagine it. But anyway, people get into this global tyranny and the global police state, and here's how they have to live. You're walking around, you walk around outside, and walking next to you are speech spies. They record you, a little recorder, and they can record what you're saying. It has a GPS receiver, so they can time tag a clock. They can time tag where you are. They can time tag what you said, and they also will know who you are. And so even when you're just walking around somewhere, you can't get away from the prying eyes of the global police state. But another thing that happens in the story is that marriages are state-sanctioned only. They verify your DNA before you're allowed to marry because they want to make sure that you'll have the right kind of children, and the children that will be more or less tame and docile and subservient to the government. They don't want any type 1 babies to be born. But what gets worse is once you're married, you get to a wait list. You have to wait for a baby because they're trying to control population, and there's a quota on the death count versus the birth count. And they want to control all that. And if you have a baby at the wrong time, if you do not have a baby-making license, then they find out they can kill the child up to the age of 3, euthanize your child because you weren't allowed to have that baby then.
Oh.
It gets pretty serious. I mean, it sounds crazy, but it wouldn't take a whole lot in this global police state thinking to get to things like that. The churches are really been changed. The churches don't the purpose of churches is to educate the public about the latest laws because, as you know, people like to make laws all the time, especially as you go into a left direction. It's laws, control, control, control. Well, it's mandatory that everybody attend the church. It's mandatory that they all tithe, and this tithing amount goes to support the people who are controlling the planetary government. It's extra money, and if you don't tithe, you will be taken to jail. If you imagine a thing like that. So churches, if you worship God, if you're caught worshiping God or having a Bible study, you get the death penalty. They only want the only God that is allowed to exist is, of course, in the story, the beast. And I told you, the beast is a group of people that control the entire planet. But there is the God. You must, basically, if you translate that, you must worship the government and how smart and how wise the government is. Otherwise, if you have a spiritual God, that means you might be doing something on your own, acting on your own belief, think somebody else is guiding your life, and that's a death penalty for that. And believe it or not, in the story, and people will see the parallel to the things that they know, as far as this is not a Bible prophecy book, it just has parallels to it. You'll get a chip in the right hand, and you'll get invisible, infrared readable barcodes in your forehead for ID. That's secondary identification, so that if it reads your chip, if you want to go to get a candy bar from a vending machine, you just flash your hand at it. Very convenient. You just wave your hand at the candy bar and it debits your account. If you're making a major purchase, then the check stand at the store also has a camera that it can read the barcode that's embedded in your forehead. And that's a 2-point ID to make sure that because of the value of the amount of money, they want to make sure who you are. All the technology for this currently exists. It's off-the-shelf stuff. They can do it anytime they want. But the crazy thing that happens, the really unbelievable thing that happens is it becomes illegal to use paper. If you write notes on paper, you can talk quietly. They can't hear what you're saying. It's not going through a network. They don't know what you're talking about. So if you're passing notes back and forth, it's just simply not allowed. So what they've done is they've taken the local memory out of all of your computing devices. And by doing that, if you want to, say, put a note on your computing device, you can't store memory in the memory of your computing device, like text in your computer. You can't do that. All the memory is on the cloud. So whenever you want to store anything or where you write a letter, it doesn't go into your computer first. It goes directly through a network into the cloud. That way the government has a record of absolutely everything you're thinking about and doing. How's that for a life?
My goodness. And when did you write this book?
It started on 2013 and finished it and published in early 2015.
Well, man, you've got quite the vision because everything you're talking about is exactly what they wanted, what they still want, and what they were actually in the process of doing in some cases. I mean,
oh yeah,
holy cow! You definitely were going through life with your eyes open, no doubt about that.
I've been paying attention since I retired. I said, "What's wrong with the world? Oh my God, look at all these things they're doing."
Yeah. Now, and Andy is listening, and Andy asks, please ask, why are the elites so desperate?
My understanding is, first of all, there are two things that come into play. If you've got more money than God, virtually you are God. These are these people that have trillions, and they're bored. First of all, they're bored, but second of all, they're following an ideology. The ideology is that the common man is too stupid to be able to manage their own lives, and they're going to screw up the ecology, and they're going to make the earth miserable, and we're going to have smoke in the air, and people are just, to them, you're virtually an animal because they are, by virtue of their great wealth, a far superior being than you are, and after a couple of generations, they actually believe that they're really, really special, and now they have the ability to take control of the earth, and to do that and make the earth, in their minds, infinitely more livable. They have to start killing off major portions of the population.
And I can tell you why they're so desperate. They're desperate because they're losing a grip on some of their power here. People are waking up.
Well, that's what's happening.
Yeah,
right now.
You got
when they just had ABC, CBS, and NBC, and a couple of newspapers, they had absolute control over the minds of men. All of a sudden, they're losing it all at once because of the internet.
Yeah, and we've got another call here, Dale, so why don't we take it? We have, I don't know who we have, but I know they're calling. It looks like from South Carolina. Welcome aboard, 864 area code, first name, and I believe it's Greenville, South Carolina. Is that right?
Yeah, it is. Hi, my name's Dave.
Well, welcome aboard, Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Yeah, I just want to say that my uncle, he works for the NSA, and I've learned a lot of things from what he's told me about how the elitists are taking over America.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So he's been talking about how people in the NSA headquarters they've been monitoring a lot of people especially people who participate in this kind of knowledge sharing where the elitists are being exposed. And they actively search for these people on a daily basis.
I see. All right.
I believe that. And they can do that. I talked earlier about bots or computer programs that look for what's being written. And they also have them for voice conversations. They're recording everything, absolutely everything, all phone calls.
They're
all digital.
recording this conversation we're having right now.
Absolutely, and now we're on a list for sure. But Michael's already been on a list, so anybody that talks to Michael's going to be on it. So we know that. You're probably on it too then, Dave.
Yeah, good possibility. So yeah, I don't think it's any secret that they're listening and watching and all that good stuff. So I don't know. Anything else?
He told me a lot about some of the inner workings of the NSA.
Well, do tell.
They have they do have bots that scrape the internet, but they also much of the work is done by humans. They have technology that's very advanced. They have technology that Microsoft and Apple, they haven't seen the likes of it. They actually hired third-party contractors to develop surveillance technology for them, and this technology it's so advanced. It's unheard of.
I can truly believe that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have the ability to see what we have now and mentally extrapolate into the future, and I'm sure that, as I pointed out earlier, the future's come faster than I can imagine.
Yeah, it sure has. It sure has.
They've been working on this.
Well, oh yeah, and that's why they're desperate because you got somebody now calling out the fake news and I mean they don't like that. But what else you got there, caller? I'm sorry, what was the name again? Was it David?
My name's Dave.
Oh, okay, Dave. So okay, so
he talked about how they've been suppressing internet traffic to Breitbart, and they've been promoting CNN on Google.
Yes,
that was one of their weekly objectives. They have a board in the room. My uncle, he's in Langley, Virginia, so they have a board in the room, and it tells everybody what the weekly objective is. And at one point, he had an objective to suppress CNN and to promote Breitbart because Breitbart was against the interests of the NSA.
Well,
we can see that activity now. A lot of people can see that's going on.
Yeah, I was just going to say that makes complete sense. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, so we're in some trying times right now. That's for sure.
We're living the Chinese proverb that says, "May you live in interesting times."
We are, yeah.
Or are we ever, huh?
Break open that fortune cookie. We're there.
Oh boy.
Yeah. All right. Well, well, listen, Dave. I thank you for the call and shoot me an email sometime. I mean, if you got maybe sometime we can get you on and talk a little more in depth about what you know. All right.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that that like in the NSA, there's been some things going on, like some really bad things.
Well, I would agree with you on that, but I have got to move on. We've got another call we've got to take, and I don't know. I don't know. Did you hear us? I think we were running in the background there. It was getting a little confusing. So let's go ahead and get our next call. This one is coming from Colorado, 719 area code. Who do we got?
It's your best friend, Mad Martian.
Hey, what's up, Gary?
I gotta tell you, it's a good show, and it's fitting, and I don't mean to interrupt. It's a good show. But, Michael, I just had to. You know why? Because the fake media, the fake news is at it again. Like the globalists are getting desperate. Yeah, so the ones that own Premiere. Do you want me to tell you of an interesting phone call I just got 10 minutes ago, Mike?
Sure, why not? Go for it.
By the producer of Coast himself. You know, he calls me up. Oh, you sent an email saying, you know, that after that little debacle situation that went on, you know, especially with me and them. That wasn't with you, but and you know that. You're my brother. Now, to your guest, I apologize. Please give me a couple minutes. This is important because, Mike, this is only the tip of the iceberg, and you're worried about what happened to your show a couple times. Now, tell me, Mike, was that or was that not after, to jump off the subject for a second, after you helped break the story about your phone lines and shit like that to help disrupt your show? Was that before or after?
Before or after what?
You broke the story and helped confront you-know-who.
Oh, well, that was well after that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What did I warn you about? And I reminded you about a nice little personal mailing not too long ago. What to expect. What things could be done to you, and most likely would, in some odd ways. You have a direct connection, my friend, to that answer. And so does everyone else listening to this. And at the tone of my voice, you should understand by what I'm just going to tell you now about the phone call I just received 10 minutes ago. Again, by the producer of Coast to Coast regarding that email. Mr. Nori on your show, did he or did he not, Michael, for the record, tell you to tell me to email him on your show a couple weeks back?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Thank you. And that was because of the question, which was what? Why was Man Martian banned from the show, correct?
Yes, Gary. Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Now, I'm pulling this on the record, one. You're a witness, two, and I'm sure that, you know, that slimy dude is listening now. Maybe he expects it, but he needs to know. I'm not going to be played like how you tried to play me. Okay, I'm not talking to you, Mike. He knows who he is. I'm not going to be played how you play me or this subject. Now, he tried to say that he didn't even know that George was on your show at first. And I'm like, dude, you're the one that's effing calling me. Okay, what do you want? I had to send my guest away because I had to talk to this clown. And he is a clown. He's a disrespectful clown on top of it. Michael, no offense. Your words about Nori are wrong. He has not changed. He is not better. He is not good. And there's no rules to that except for which they want to apply to you, golden carrot or no. Why was your show messed up in the past? Because it's something you won't give up on. Gee, why was it such a hard thing to twist and follow that you would be offered a deal by Art Bell, which you exposed that conspiracy of Hoagland seeming to be in charge? Now get this. After all that, Mike, this phone call is incredible. He goes, you sent a letter saying that you were banned. You were never banned. I said, yes, I was. Why do you think I had to call in several times on the different names? Which is why I'm sure you're calling me, is because about the videos that you stripped down again. And which I'm in the process of getting back up. And I laughed. And he says, no, we're not. We have not done that. I said, sir, can you give me 5 minutes? I'll email you screen captures of the emails I got of you guys premiered there of Coast to Coast AM tearing down my videos. The ones that happened to be when Hoagland slandered me. And when once I said that, guess what, Mike? Guess what, audience? He went on the defensive, to distance himself, sorry, I don't know if I came in an echo. He went into self-defense mode to distance himself, told me to calm down, right? And I was being calm. I thought maybe he was hopefully going to ask me on to be on the show, right, Mike? But get this. He goes, Richard Hoagland is not a part of our show, and there's nothing we're responsible. I was like, oh, so now you're saying that you know more about it, but yet you just want to distance yourself from Hoagland, and that he has nothing to do with what he said as your science advisor. Remember, Mike, when he
said, Gary, I got to hurry though because I do have a guest on, and
yes, I do. I just wanted this to be on the record for your knowledge, Mike.
All right. Well, I don't.
And you know, well, hey, It is what it is. And like I said, when flames fly, you're my brother. But brother, you better be knowing where you stand when the fight comes, my friend. And everyone else out there, get ready because things are going to heat up. This guy is worried that I'm taking him to court. Deservedly so. That's all I'm going to say. As the update to you all, and Michael, you needed to be aware, and so did the audience. Good night, and sorry, guests. Keep up the rocket show, and yeah, they're all fucking us. So let's fix it.
All right, thanks a lot. You just broke my golden rule and you F-bombed. That's not, that wasn't really cool and not good. So don't, please, folks, when you call in, no F-bombs. That's going to get your number banned. And I don't want to do that, but I've got affiliates who pick me up. And, you know, they send me a fine. You'll be getting it. All right, so let's get back to it. Dale, that was Gary. He's been a guest here, and he's got.
Yeah, I've heard Gary on before.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He gets very, I don't know, passionate, I guess you could say. But
yeah, that he does.
well, listen, we do have to take our last break, so I apologize, but he was actually calm tonight, so that was good. But yeah, let's take our break tonight, our last break, and then we'll come back, and you and I will finish up. All right. So hang on there with me, Dale. My guest is Dale E. Winther, and this is Late Night in the Midlands on the LNM Radio Network, amongst other stations. And folks, I apologize for those of you listening either on High Point or WAFR or WCET, which don't get us live, thankfully. But I do apologize. Occasionally, sometimes things get through, and I try my best to catch it. What do you know? You know, sometimes people get passionate, things get out there, but it's still no excuse, folks. You've got to, when you come on this show, you call in or what have you. You've got to keep it clean. You can't talk like you're out at the garage with your buddies. You've got to keep it real. I don't know, talk like you would if you were in church. That will work. All right. So we're going to take this break. We'll be back. This is Late Night in the Midlands, folks. Don't go away. All right, we are back. This is Late Night in the Midlands, and I am Michael Vera, and I do welcome you all. And if you're just tuning in, well, you've missed most of the show. We don't have a whole lot of time left, but we got a little time left. We could still take calls, but then I will get to the phone in just a minute. As a matter of fact, we got somebody sitting there. But I have to say this. I do have the ability to block numbers, and I promise you I will. If you abuse calling in, you know, we've got to keep it clean, family oriented. You know, an occasional ass or something like that. Certain words, I guess, are okay occasionally. F-bombs are never okay on this show, and will make me hesitate to take your calls again if you do that. So please don't put me in that position, and we'll do just fine. All right. So my guest, Dale E. Winther. His book is The Brotherhood of the Beast. We have him linked up over on LateNightInTheMidlands.com as well. And Dale, we have another call here, so I'm going to go ahead and take it. We have 571 area code, looks like Virginia. Welcome aboard. Who do we have?
Hi, I'm Dan.
Hi, Dan.
My uncle works.
Oh boy, we've got them all. We got all the jokers now. Hey kid, it's just about your bedtime, so you might want to go get mommy, get your diaper changed, and get yourself ready for school tomorrow. Okay? All right. So, Dale. Anyways, anything else?
A short call.
Yeah, that was a very short call. We got the clowns out tonight. What are you gonna do? So, but anyway.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I got a little bit more here, a little bit more on the life in the near future in this control society that we could be in for very shortly. Yeah, they're using mind reading chip implants, and believe it or not, this is patented. There are certain types of mind reading, and you can find the patent. I give the patent number in the book. You can actually look it up, where they can read certain things about your mind, and the chips implanted in people, so if it's necessary, they can tell that you're thinking about certain things you shouldn't be thinking about. I mean, the technology is here right now. And then the people also have, if they've committed a crime or if the government wants to watch them, they're implanted with a death-dealing microchip. The chip that goes into the top of your spine, that will fry your spine. It'll explode and wipe out your spine. And the command gets to you through any cell tower. So if you're near any cell tower and they decide that they want to do you in because you're not coming back as you're supposed to into the government or you're going somewhere where you're not allowed to go. They just call up a number and put out a code over a cell tower, and that little chip explodes in your spine. That's the end of it. That technology is also available. And this is one that gets to everybody, is that the juries are pretty much replaced by computers. You remember we talked about bots and being able to read everything. If the legal system can read everything you said and did for the last several years, they can make decisions on your probability of guilt or innocence. And in the story, there really isn't much of a need for a jury. The computer kind of pre-decides whether you're guilty or not, and the judge hits the gavel, and that's it. This is the kind of future we could truly be looking at, because the amount of information that's available to the electronic systems is really there right now. So calling along with that is they ban paper books. Now, remember, for Fahrenheit 451, they banned books. Well, we're in a position where they can literally do that, where all the books can be electronic, all the information electronic. The thing is, the reason they would want to do that is paper books can't be edited. And you don't want young people knowing about what happened in the past or what life could be like or should be like, and you don't want people thinking outside the box when it comes to what the theory of how things should be living, people should be living their lives. So what happens is old people in this case are denied health care if they talk about the past or they're hoarding any books so that young people can see them. This is very well could happen, because all the information is on the cloud where the government can watch. And you also, as I said, you don't have the ability to write notes. You get in trouble for writing notes. So everything you do is on the keypad. The schools, they're doing that right now. Well, the high school that my grandchildren are going through, they have everything on the computer, on the school network. They don't write anything on paper. They don't even take it home, so the parents can't tell what's going on. This is already here. It's just the next step is not allowing anybody to use paper, or not anybody to use a paper book, because after all, books can't be changed, and if the government wants to change a school lesson to make it more politically correct, they can change it instantly, and then the child gets the correct message. We're really quickly moving into that kind of a world. Country living is really forbidden for most people because it's too hard to control people when they live out in the country. They have ideas of freedom and fending for themselves, and they're apt to have guns and all kinds of terrible things and ways that they're not compatible with the global government thinking. So it's very discouraged for people to live in country. They're all sucked into small apartments in cities, and we can see some of that action taken out too. So anyway, as I mentioned before, people's digital records are all scanned constantly for crimes. There's an entire industry that is a machine that sits there and looks at what people have said and done and envisions connections in there that could be a crime and call you in to have you prosecuted. So you could have done nothing, but because of some of the things you said 2 or 3 years ago, they're going to find it and say, did you do this? Well, you've committed a crime. It gets really exciting, though, because they have people that abuse that system and get control over the people that run these systems. And there's a tolerance, there's a threshold that's set. How bad does this person have to be or not be to be called a possible criminal? They can adjust that threshold if you pay them enough money, and you can get rid of your enemies.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, I've said it a long time ago, and thank God it hasn't happened yet. It almost did with Obama and Clinton. But I said, you know, they would go after the net and they would go after the guns, and when they got those two things, everything else was going to be real easy. So, you know, I'll tell you, you've been spot on. Now, I do want to say to people, if you've called in once tonight, that's good enough. I don't want people repeat calling in. So 1 call per person per night, just for the record. And also another little tidbit of a note in the chat room, latenightinthemidlands.com. If you're private messaging me, you're only doing it to give me a question for the guest. I can't hold a conversation with you, nor will I. So if you want to have a conversation, you've got to email me for that. latenightinthemidlands@yahoo.com or mv@latenightinthemidlands.com. But not going to hold I'm live, folks. That's just be very unprofessional to be sitting here typing through the whole show. I'm not going to do it. So if you got a question, fine. Otherwise, don't private message me, please. And I can only be so nice about it. I don't know how else to put it, except for that I can't do it now. So we do have another call here, and so I want to take it, Dale, real quick. I think I want to take it. Okay. Let's see what happens. 864 area code. You are on Late Night in the Midlands. First name, where you're calling from.
Hello, my name's Dave, and I'm calling from Greenville, South Carolina. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, I know, but you've already called in, and like I said, I can't take double calls for the night, and so, you know, I don't, because otherwise you get people, oh yeah, and I forgot to say this and forgot to say that, and before you know it, the show becomes just a mess. So sorry about that. Try us again tomorrow night, and maybe we can bring you back on. But we already talked to you, Dave. But I do appreciate it. I thank you for listening and calling. But yeah, I can, if I do it for you, I'll have everybody calling back in, and I don't want that to happen. So, well, Dale, I'll tell you what, we're getting near the end here. I guess we won't take no more calls tonight, because we just won't. But I want to give you the floor to get out anything that you'd like. That's for sure. So any place else you want to go, the floor is yours. You've got we've got about another 10 minutes here.
Okay, we have time to work it all in. The end of the world plan, the evil plan, what the elites want to do. I call it the evil plan to end the world, and how this is covered in the story is that drones are will deliver human DNA tagged death spray. It's a biological weapon that tunes into the human DNA, only kills people. It spares the poor little animals. And there's a whole plot to get out there with drones that spray humans. That's how they clear the countryside of human life, but leave the poor little animals alone. So it's a DNA-adjusted killing bacteria. So those things are possible now, and that's part of what happens in the plan, that coupled with the drones. And the large cities are going to be eliminated from the be no longer in these city skylines because of the doomsday weapon that was discovered by accident at CERN. They're going to use those to blast all the cities off the base of the earth and kill the people in the countryside with the death spray. And then the elites and their workers. Now, the elites that run all this have to have workers to maintain things, keep things going into the future. So they've got 1 million or so people that are scientists, engineers, and hard workers that can do these things. They've built a phenomenal, and this will absolutely blow your mind when you read this about this nuclear-powered underground city that they bring their people, the people that are privileged to survive the massacre of humanity. In an underground city that's nuclear-powered, and it is really all the bells and whistles you want in an underground civilization built just for the people that are lucky enough to be part of the support team for the 6 elites that want to do in the world. And their plan really is to kill billions of humans, and it's all set forth in the book how they're going to do it. And if you want to find out how they do it, it's in the book. It's an exciting romp, and how they do it, and how they get stopped, how we get saved from all this. I don't want to give away the end of the story, but it's a really good read. I think people would really enjoy that. It's quite a thriller. You can get the story, The Brotherhood of the Beast, on go to www.thebrotherhoodofthebeast.com, or you can click on the photo of the book on Michael's homepage. Down at the bottom of the homepage, we have an ad up for the book. 2 ways to get the book. And while you're on the book website, you can look at it. You'll read more about what this is all about, and whether you choose to purchase their book or not, I encourage you to sign up for Stories About the Future. There's a place where you can leave your email number, and I'll start coming up with a newsletter and keep people posted on where things are headed.
I see. All right. Well, and I've got you linked up on our website. Also, I've had you up on our YouTube screen all night, the website and the book cover, and so people should have no problem getting to you. Listen, Dale, I thank you so much for being here tonight, and I'm not kicking you off yet. We still got a few more minutes. But yeah, so, I mean, it's amazing, if people open their eyes, what they see, and, your eyes are obviously open, because everything everything that you've mentioned tonight would, some of it is happening, but all of it would be happening if things had gone the other way, this last election.
I got to tell you, I got to tell you that after this election was all over, I sat for a minute, I said, what if Hillary would have won? And I just got a cold chill. I just thought, my God, I said, we wouldn't have any defense against this.
Me too. Oh, well, and people are like, oh, well, it'll be a bad 4 years or a bad 8 years. I said, no, you kidding me? It would have been.
It would be the trigger into my story.
Yeah, well, first off, she would have put some judges in place, Supreme Court judges in place. Your next chance might be 40, 50 years from now, but here's the problem.
Right.
That wouldn't even happen, because most of the youth in this country would be brainwashed by then. I mean, it would be the norm. They wouldn't, like it is for the Obama babies, These are the ones who are protesting now because it's the norm for them. They think it's okay. It's the way it's supposed to be.
They would be clueless as to what life could be like in a free society.
Well, and we're trying to show them that. I mean, maybe they get a little taste of it, wisen up, and teach their kids. I'll be going to my granddaughter's birthday party this weekend, and so there'll be a lot of people. I don't pound it like I do on the show, but I like to get the message out. You got to reach the youth any way you can. So even little parties, talk with the parents. Kind of try to educate them a little bit nicely, because people take.
It's like what I told you. I said with this Common Core education, I talked to my grandchildren, and I realized they didn't know a thing about the founding fathers. They weren't taught that part of history in school.
They're not being taught any of this in school no more. you know, it's what they're being taught is no, don't touch, you know, don't do this. God, they're being taught about third bathrooms and all this other stuff. They're not being taught what they're supposed to know. When I was in school, we were taught about writing checks, banking. We were taught the Constitution. All this stuff. And it's like, no, I don't know. I mean, these kids, they don't even want to stand up for the pledge anymore. I mean, it's just, I don't know.
And in California, the judge made take wearing the American flag in a school illegal.
Well, you know, he's lucky my kids don't go to that school because I'm one of them parents. I have no problem coming in the office, and you know, let's just say I've been escorted out a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm afraid I would have had some problems in school too. I had enough problems as it was when I was in school, but boy, in this climate, I think I'd have been incorrigible.
Oh my God! If I was a teenager growing up now. These schools, they wouldn't like me because, I mean, I remember going to school with I had a jean jacket, had the American flag on the back, and, you know, we're always patriotic. Now, all of a sudden, it's supposed to be a bad thing to be patriotic and to love your country. No, you should love the world. And, okay, I do love the world, but I love my country first because I live here.
Well, if you're patriotic, you're a criminal. Some of the documents say that the bad people are the patriots.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they were teaching. So hopefully we'll get it turned around. This is going to be a hell of a fight. Hey, any plans on another book?
Well, not in any near term. Actually, I started on another one, but I'm about halfway through it right now.
Okay, well, good. Well, I'm looking forward. Well, you're just so good at. I mean, you've seen the future because what you've got in the Brotherhood of the Beast. I mean, you're dead on. So you know, I'm looking forward to the next piece of work from you.
Okay.
All right.
We'll see when we can get that going.
All right, Dale. Well, listen, again, I thank you. Anything else you want to throw out there before we're done? Go ahead. Anything? Websites?
Well, I want to.
Yeah.
www.thebrotherhoodofthebeast.com, or click on it on Michael's homepage down at the bottom. And one more time, if you just want to go there and take a look, you'll learn more about me and what the whole idea is about. You don't have to buy the book. I prefer that you do, but you don't have to buy the book. But you could leave me your email address and subscribe to a future newsletter that I plan on putting out and keeping people, letting people see what I'm seeing.
All right. Sounds good, Dale. Well, listen, I thank you again, and we'll do this again. I enjoy talking with you. So anytime,
I very much, Mike.
Anytime you got a message you want to get out there, let me know. We'll have you back on.
Happened, how they got control of every country and every dollar on the planet, and it's about we've got a resistance movement that's just trying to restore the entire planet back to a condition of freedom, and it's quite a tale. But getting into the book, back in 2013, I started on the book. It took me 2 years solid. I mean, this is like 7-8 hours a day of writing and researching. 2013 and 2014, finally published in early 2015. But and one of the editors of the book was impressed because all the tales in the story, and it's really kind of a number of tales that go forward. All of them use real scientific facts and technology and devices we now have. It's not made up, so it's really hard to call it science fiction, but that was the category. But it's at the same time, it is truly a thriller, and if you're paying attention to what's happening in the cyber world, I think people really get a real kick out of this thing. But you know. One of the things that got me is, as I said, I started writing the book in 2013, and so much of it was coming true already. It was almost scaring me, Michael. My original title was going to be 2025. You know how George Orwell used 1984? I thought, well, this is quite a ways in the future, 2025. And I said, well, we'll just call it there's a reason why the Brotherhood of the Beast was the title. But I was really thinking it was about that time when these things would start to become pronounced. But I'm going to list a few items right here today that have already come to pass since I wrote the book, expecting it to happen even later. Okay. For example, the chip implants in humans is already beginning. They're already experimenting with that in some places. The end of cash is now taking place in India. The police are patrolling by drones. That's a fact already. Police cameras are doing face scans. That's begun. They now have these cameras on policemen, but there's a company now that's offering them the ability to identify the person as they're looking at them electronically. Imagine that. He looks at you, okay, Dale, I see your name here. That's already happening now. The internet censoring of websites, we can see that. At the time, it was unbelievable. They would be censoring all these websites. Well, they're happening right now as we talk. We just talked about that a little while ago. And the tracking of cars and people are in progress. They track the GPS in your car. They track the GPS you're holding in your pocket. And believe it or not, one of the things I predicted back when I wrote it in 2013 was the rising of fake news propaganda. Imagine that. It's already happening. And of course, we all know about the dumbed down education where people are not told the true history of the country. We've got several grandchildren in elementary school, and they're just not getting it. I have to explain to them who the founding fathers were. I think in the first, second, third grade we heard some of that. They're not getting that at all because they're being given this Common Core with the progressive bias in it, and it's really quite shocking. When I talk to these kids and I hear them answer things, I just get the creeps. Anyway, the other thing that in my story that I was predicting were cell phones and smart TVs that can listen to you. Guess what's been happening?
Yeah, exactly. Just like we've been talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
There it is. I mean, and of course now you go anywhere in a city, and most cities, anyway, probably all of them by now, but you go anywhere, even here in Columbia, I go and you see cameras everywhere, cameras up on poles, cameras in parking lots, cameras on stores, cameras everywhere. So, I mean, I watch some of these these real life detective shows sometimes when I actually get a lazy moment, which happens once in a blue moon. I'll put on one of these things and I watch, and it's reality kind of stuff, so I like it. And you'll see where I like mystery. I like, crimes being solved. And so you see them and we followed them through the cameras. And they followed every step of some of these people. They knew where they were, what time they were there, even going through toll booths. They got pictures of them. I mean, you can't get away with nothing these days.
Oh, I know. And I remember, I distinctly remember the day when I was reading, I think it was a magazine, and they said that England was putting these cameras out in the public to watch the public squares and to watch the people. And I thought to myself, what an invasion of privacy. And I said to myself, that'll never happen in America.
Yeah, I thought that one time too, and then there was, of course, a time when you thought before all this stuff come along, a crime would happen and you'd think, oh, how nice it would have been if there was a way to, be able to record what happened and catch them. But they don't use it they take it too far. It started behind the counter in a grocery store, right? And then it goes from that to every street pole. I mean, they want to put cameras in your house now. You got these security things being sold on TV, Oh, I forget what it's called. There's one of them where the lady says, "Intruder, leave the premises now." So now you're getting a camera installed in your house. They can turn it on anytime they want and watch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's amazing. No, you've heard of this, let's see, what do they call that, where you're renting your house out to people? You rent your house out to people. There's a website they can get on. You can rent somebody's house. I don't know why I went blank on that.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, he rents one of his houses out on occasion. We're near Yosemite National Park here, and so we have a lot of people that would like lodging, and he's making a killer business out of this thing. And he has installed cameras and things that work over the internet. He can be anywhere on his iPhone. He can check if they came and when they came and how many people are coming in the house. He controls the thermostat. He can turn on the coffee pot for him and do all this from his iPhone. It's just amazing with the level of integration he has now right onto his iPhone.
Well, I would caution people. That's like even with these garage door openers and your car, beep, beep, you can start it with your little remote controls. And I know that's a nice luxury to have, right? But if you can do it, someone else can do it too. And that's the bottom line. I mean, if somebody, all they got to do is play with frequencies. People could open your garage doors. They could do they could unlock your car. I mean, these hackers have gotten good. I mean, and just, you could get your 14-year-old kid next door who learns how to do this stuff. I mean, they're good. They've gotten really good at this stuff. So I don't know. I'm still not opposed to getting out of the car and opening the garage myself. I'm okay with that.
I like the garage. And the encoding is pretty good. Back in the early days of remote controls, they didn't think very far ahead, and it was very simple. There was not much encoding, so it was really easy to break the codes. They're harder now, but still it can be done by just about it. I remember back in when I was learning to fly. I'm also a pilot, and back in the early 70s, I was taking flying lessons, and my instructor says, "I want to show you." We were flying at night, and he says, "I want to show you a magic trick." I said, "What do you mean?" He says, we were flying over near Hughes aircraft company still had a landing strip over near Culver City at the time, and he says, "I'm going to turn to this frequency, and I'm going to key my mic and whistle." I mean, he keys the mic on the airplane radio, he whistles, and the landing lights come on at the airport. I thought that's the ultimate remote control experience for a pilot. You know, I want to land, so I'll just turn on your landing lights. But
Oh my God! I would have said no magic tricks while we're flying.
it was kind of fun. Oh no, I had a great experience as a private pilot. That was one of them. I'm really glad I did it. I love flying. I always did. So.
Well, you know, I just had an experience like that myself a few days ago. I've got some radio quick kit thing that I got in the mail, and I was goofing around with it, and I put an antenna booster on it, and I'm goofing around. All of a sudden, the lights over my wife's desk come on, and I said, "How did that happen?" So I'm thinking it's either a ghost or something, and then I figured out. I turned the switch. I said, "I'll be darned, I'm controlling the light." I don't know how, but it worked. It turned the lights on and off. So interesting stuff. You just never know. So you might be driving by someone's house, and I don't know, you play with one of your gadgets and you open someone's garage and don't even know it. I hope something like that wouldn't happen, but God.
Well, I can tell you, that one's a little bit on the naughty side to being a ham radio operator. I have a ham radio equipment in the car, and it's a lot compared to CBs and other things. This is like tens or hundreds of times the transmitter power. And one radio that I had a tendency to set off car alarms. And we were going through a parking lot, and I would just key the mic on the radio transmitter, and all the cars would start beeping. And wow! I mean, when you drove around the parking lot, the lights would come on behind us, everything beeping. And it was so bad. My wife got the biggest kick out of it. She grabbed the mic and said, "I want to do that. I want to do that."
I had a car with no muffler once, and I used to love going down this one side street and just laying on the gas hard, and all the alarms would go off. But listen, we've got to take a break here, Dale, so hang on with me for a moment, and then we'll come back. Now, when we come back, I'll get the questions in the chat. Right now, there's only a couple of them. Also, we will open up phone lines. If anybody wants to call in, guess what? You may. Guess again, it will work this time. All right? The call-in number is 803-339-2559. And here's what's probably going to happen. When you call in, I'll at some point, if we've got more than one call, I'll mute you. And if you get muted, stay muted. All right, don't unmute yourself. And just wait until I call you on. And it's that simple. You should hear the show and everything while you're waiting, and everything should work out just fine. My guest, he is Dale E. Winther. His book is The Brotherhood of the Beast, and I would suggest you go ahead and get yourself a copy. Matt, and this question was asked a little while ago. I'm just getting to it, though. What are your views on the Black Star? Do you have any views on the Black Star?
To me, it's a wait and see. It's a very curious thing. I want to wait and hear more about it.
All right, and Tony says, looks like Trump sent the boys in and got rid of ISIS in Iraq and is moving into Syria. I heard that he was supposed to be sending some portion of